Welcome to the Real in Real Estate Podcast, your go-to show for real estate success. Whether you're an agent aiming to crush it or a buyer or seller wanting the inside scoop, we're here to deliver expert advice, insider tips, and the real talk you need. Each episode, we chat with top industry pros to give you the facts, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive in this business. Let's dive in and make big moves together. Hi, welcome back to the Real in Real Estate, where we talk to the experts and get the facts and dispel the myths. And today we have the wonderful Kevin Yoder here with us. Kevin is a 25-year real estate sales veteran, a team leader, and a mindset coach, high performance mindset coach. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us.
Thanks, Gene. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, same here, same here. Well, I've been in the business 18 years, so you've got me beat there. But I started right when the downturn was, so to speak, and everybody goes, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, I've only got one way to go, and that's up." So here I am.
Yeah, you are. I love it.
So tell me some more about yourself. Okay, you've been in the business 25 years. You're a team leader. You're a mindset coach. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, so that title mindset coach gets thrown around a lot, and I think the problem with that, it kind of carries with it like maybe a little bit of like woo-woo or negative connotation to it. All that like mindset stuff gets kind of thrown into a box, and for that reason, I want to kind of dispel that right up front. So
Sure.
I would prefer to explain, the elevator pitch version of that. Like, what do you do? And if you say mindset coach, automatically ding, like, oh, fluffy law of attraction-ish. But
Okay.
I'm more of an entrepreneur identity strategist. And someone might say, well, what is that? Well, it's somebody who helps entrepreneurs bridge the gap between who they are and who their vision requires them to be. And there's a
Oh,
gap.
wow.
And so that's the specificity to what I'm involved in and what my coaching is and what and how I apply that even in real estate, because this is stuff that we're talking about. I mean, we're honestly with clients. The worlds have blended now. So not only am I coaching entrepreneurs through this program, but I'm applying the very thing that I'm coaching on, not only in my own practice of real estate, but with my clients as well.
That's fantastic. Well, I read one thing. It said strategy stops working when identity doesn't scale. So talk to us about identity. What do you mean by that?
Well, essentially, when we say identity, I say identity to kind of smooth out the misunderstanding with what I'm really getting at, which is the
Okay.
self-image. Everyone understands what identity is when you say it, but at the end of the day, there's something called, and I won't get too deep on this, but there's the self-concept, which is the bucket that contains the identity and the image and our esteem, how much we like ourselves. All of those things factor into there, but the identity is an easy go-to because you get what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, underneath all of these problems that people have and their successes, because it works the other way as well, is all hinged on this thing that no one quite understands. Not many people get this, but once you get it, you might go, oh, that's the reason. And that's the reason when you might observe somebody who you might have thought would be like a high performer, or they start off strong and then they fizzle out, or they come in, yeah, that usually comes with that. Like, or they just procrastinate and they never quite get traction, or their
Hmm.
income is up and down in a roller coaster. We're like, well, it's the economy, or it's they're going through a divorce, or they're sick. No, 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 it's not, because there's other people that perform through those situations, no matter
True.
what, anyway. And so we have to get down to the heart of the matter. And it is the self image, which is the regulating component within each of us. And we all have a self image that regulates how we show up in the world. The words I'm sharing with you
Okay.
right this moment, Gene, are fashioned by my self-image and my, you can see this right behind me. You see that belief? You can hardly see the BE there.
Yes.
Oh, but that belief system is controlling everything. It actually, it's so powerful that it attracts the people into our lives, the clients that we get to work with, those that we repel by virtue of that image, how we're showing up, because it's beyond just a belief system. It's actually turns into an energy and a conveyance of this powerful force that's coming through us, and whether we have that or not, people pick up on that, and it's that
Yes.
powerful. That's what I mean by that statement.
Yeah. So how do we get past ourselves, basically? If we have, I mean, we all know what we have an image of or what we think our image is. And if things are stalled, how do we get past that?
Boy, that is a really great question. Like you get right to the heart of the matter.
Good. I'm
But the thing
sorry.
is that you ask the question, and I tell people that are stuck and they're frustrated with themselves. A lot of people are frustrated, but if they're asking, that's so far up the scale. In other words, if you
Progress.
take a ruler and you put a zero in the middle, I know that's not how rulers are made. There's a zero at one end, but if you put the zero in the middle, that would represent kind of like a base of -5 plus 5. That's the easiest way I can explain it. If you're
Okay.
asking a question, at least you're at 0 or +1. Most people are hovering at -2 or 3. They're in this unconscious state of not even knowing that there's a problem, assuming it's quite normal to run around in mediocrity for 85, 90 years of their lives, and
Ooh,
always settling for the lowest common denominator from cradle to grave. But if someone's asking, how do we fix this? Like that's at the heart of the program, and it's for somebody, it's for the people that really truly they recognize that they're here and they have this thing within them that wants to get them to here. And and for that reason, it does take an unbecoming and a becoming. It takes a conscious awareness of where I am, and the best way to describe it is where I'm going relative to my goal. And that's why I say that if that the entrepreneur identity strategist is someone says, "Hey, what do you want?" I'll say, "Eugene, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be?" And then you'll say, "Well, first of all, I'll have you get out of your own way with those goals because you're running your
right.
answer filter of your paradigms, which are already messing up your answer." But let's say we get to the truth of the matter and you say, "You know what? I've always wanted this, whatever that this is. It's different for everybody." And then we land on something so big and powerful and bold that would get them to jump out of bed in the morning if they could actually acquire it, have it, be it, do it, live in it, or drive it if it's a nice fancy Lambo or something, whatever that thing is. But then we recognize there's a gap between who we are and what we're going for, and everybody has a gap. And we understand that very easily by looking at, okay, the difference between a multimillionaire and a billionaire. Huge gap. And if the millionaire knew how to be a billionaire, they would be a billionaire and not just
Right.
aspire to be the billionaire. So there's gaps there. There's financial gaps. There's gaps in business. There's gaps in all sorts of areas of our lives. And so we don't want to damage ourselves by getting down on ourselves with that gap, but rather say, here I am on the thermostat dial. My goal is 100, for example, but I'm sitting at a 75. How do we shore that up? And one key step in that direction is to identify the sort of person who would take the actions that would have the thing that we want.
Okay.
And that's conscious awareness, like looking at people that we admire in our lives that actually have those attributes. Because at the end of the day, we have to be, then do, then have. And so in order to have the thing, we must start to show up now
Yes.
as that person. Someone's going to say to me right now, I already hear it. I see it. Oh, you're talking about faking it before you make it, aren't you? And I'm just going to say there it goes a long way when you're doing it on an everyday basis because your subconscious is picking up on, wait a minute, you're acting outside of the boundaries of what we've defined you are. And this happening? You know what I mean? And then most
Yes.
people give up though because they let that negative paradigm talk them out of it right back to where they were.
And
So
that's easy to do. Yeah. That's easy.
it's easy
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
It's so many times people in any position in life or any aspect of life, sometimes you have got to make yourself take that first step. That's my opinion. And once, I know it sounds really corny, but once you take the first step, which is the hardest, then the second step is a little bit easier, a little bit easier. But if you just don't get out of your chair and you don't take that step, so to speak, you're not getting anywhere.
It does take the first step. And I think that where people get, and I see this a lot of time with real estate agents, is you just ask them, just do a simple poll, if you will, to ask 100 agents what their goals are. And the challenge there with this type of work we're talking about is this isn't for everybody because if you don't have something to move towards that's compelling enough, really the whole thing sort of crumbles upon itself because
Yeah.
what is the point of ratcheting up the self-image on if you look at the thermostat dial, moving it from a 75 to 100, why? Well, it's because not just because, it's because in order to become or evolve into the person that I want to be so that I can, if the goal doesn't have to be a thing, a material thing. It could be I want to be a better this, or I want to stand on a stage and express the best of who I am and help people, uplift the world, leave it better than I found it. Well, that takes a different version of you to do that.
Yeah.
And so, but that has to be a goal. That goal has to be crystal clear. And I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions where most people do. So if you ask an agent what their goals are, well, I want to do 32 units. And last year I did 28. Okay, that's not going to cut it because
Yeah.
it doesn't take a self-image alteration to get 4 more units. It takes your friends and family kicking off a couple more referrals. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a starting point for sure, you know?
Okay. So how do you motivate these people to, I guess the first step is just figuring out where you want to go before you start going anywhere. Is that right? What
Oh,
exactly is it you want?
100% is saying, okay, here I am. Here's where I want to go. Get crystal clear on this goal. And we've heard this so much. It's almost like you don't even want to talk about it because, by the way, just so you know, as an aside, if of all the videos that I make content on, self-image and paradigm shifts and common denominator of success and sales influence and all these things, the one that gets the least amount of views and interaction is goal setting, which is fascinating.
Ah, because
It's
we hear it
fascinating.
all the time.
It's just like there's something about it, and I think, and I'm pretty sure it is this, is that when you talk about goals at this level, it has people realize that they're not doing it, and they don't people we don't like to have the light shined upon our inadequacies, and I'll just call it inadequacies. It sounds harsh, but it is an inadequacy in terms of what we're capable of, and not rising up to that is not easy to admit to. And so
Right.
that is the starting point is identifying like what do I want? And for the first time in my life, I start my entire program out Infinite You with this is the first time in your life you might be asking yourself this question is what do I want? What do I want? Not what my spouse wants me to have, not what my kids say, not what my parents said, not what society says. No, what do I want? And lock into it. And it better be something pretty big, pretty bold, pretty beautiful, pretty amazing, pretty much get myself out of bed at 4:30 without an alarm clock big, or else it doesn't work. Yeah. So get clear on that. That's step one for sure.
And now, time for a short break.
Hi, my name is Greg with Graceful Moves Moving and Storage. And with over 1,500 five-star reviews, we're one of the #1 moving companies in the greater Houston area. We specialize in everything from local moves and long distance, packing and unpacking, storage solutions, and so much more. If you guys have any questions or if there's any way that we can serve you, contact us at 713-280-7990. That's 713-280-7990. Thanks.
Okay, so what would the next step be? Once I figured out exactly what I want,
Yeah.
where do I
Well,
need to go next?
yeah. Well, and that's the thing
How do I
about
get there?
that's the thing about Infinite You is that it's a program that walks an entrepreneur, real estate agent, salesperson, it doesn't matter, mortgage professional, the list goes on, business owner. Um, the my niche is working with small business owners and into organizations as well, but um, is to now you have a goal, right? What do I do with this goal? And that's where most people get offline is because let's say this is the goal. I have a goal now. It's beautiful. I have this goal. Well, the problem with that, and this is where goals don't work, is right here, is that now I have a goal, but my self-image is not in alignment with that goal. There's a gap. And so
Yeah,
what
big
happens?
time.
We stall out. And I think the magic date is like January 15th or whatever. So first of all, the goals that are New Year's resolutions are so small anyway, it doesn't do the thing. But then secondarily, if it's a little bit bigger and it's outside of the reach of what we think is possible, we just give up anyway. We give up because our self-image says you're not worthy of that. That's what this is coming down to. It's an
Oh,
I am worthy or not worthy of it. Because if I felt like I was worthy of the thing, I would have it. If you felt like you were worthy of the thing that you want, it'd be in your driveway right now. it would be there. What about the person that
Yeah.
you with? Yeah, you'd have them too. They'd be right around your arm, right tomorrow, right? So we have to really start to remove those barriers. And that's what this is talking about. So if you have a big goal as the first lesson in a program, for example, then we realize that, oh crap, like this is big stuff because now I have all these mental barriers in the way from paradigms, which is the lens through which I view and take in information and analyze the world, to understanding the difference between the conscious, subconscious mind body relationship and how if I think and feel and act in a certain way, it propels me forward into action, to saying, okay, the self-image is a dial. I need to ratchet that up. I need to start identifying with those attributes of the people that I admire that are doing what I want to do, and start to day by day take on those attributes one at a time, not 10 at a time. That's where it also gets kind of
It's
crazy. People,
overwhelming.
it's
Overwhelming.
overwhelming. It's not possible. Just one thing. Just start to do the one thing, and you'll start to find yourself changing ever so slowly. It is the, I call it the infinite edge. There's something that inspired me, which is this book I read a long time ago by Jeff Olson, The Slight Edge, which is simply like doing things, those positive, small positive actions every day in a repetitive way. Over time, they start to turn into an advantage in your favor. But for many years, or many months, if you will, if two people are walking the same path, like the same, not the same path, but one person's doing those every day and one person's not, it starts to slip away and it starts to look like that. There's a gap then suddenly of somebody that's doing the daily work of removing the negative paradigms. There's a process. So how do you do it? Well, I mean, I literally have 12 lessons involved with paradigm shifting, alteration of self-image, and deep mental construction, reconstruction, because it takes an understanding, it takes constant spaced repetition. We call it CSR, and it takes doing the work, which is worksheets and involvement in video and audio, and then there's different ways that we're learning through this. And I've got it all in there to make sure that it's everybody that learns in a different way is learning this way. So, boy, there's a lot there, and
Yeah.
it takes a committed individual for sure. But it's
Yeah,
worth it.
because I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just say it's worth it. It's worth it because
Oh, yeah.
we have
Yeah,
so much.
I think so. I think self-image has to be probably the hardest thing for anyone to change because I think you're getting in your own way if you don't, and it's hard to. But I love what you said about taking one step at a time, little things each day, because I know if you're giving somebody, well, you got to do these 60 things every single day, it's like, okay, I'm out. I don't even know where to begin.
Right, that's for sure. And I mean, when you said that, that's an interesting thing, that the self-image might be the hardest thing to change. I would say that um, yes, and yet with an understanding, it doesn't need to be hard. It could be a life quest and an important endeavor that we're up to, just like anything else. I mean, we're committing our time to other things. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny, the statement that you've heard it over and over again is choose your heart, and it's true. Like being broke is hard, but yet working on in your real estate business, let's say you're somebody who prospects daily and you call for sale by owners or expireds, that's hard.
Yes.
Everything's hard, right? So we're just committing
Right.
ourselves to things that are either going to move us up the success ladder and the fulfillment ladder, or we're going to do the hard things that leave us stuck where we are. And I think it's just a matter of saying, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to commit to being better so that I leave the world better off than I found it. How do I do that? As I've got to fill my cup first, and it overflows with so much that I can give now. And that's where I started off this entire journey. I said, my cup isn't full. I can't help people if I can't help myself first.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and I spent 25, years in sales and leadership. And I built top producing teams. I've coached agents and salespeople. And, from the outside, everything looks super duper, successful. But what I kept seeing both in myself and others is that I was coaching was that this strange pattern was occurring, which is driven people with the right strategies, and they read the books and all the hard work is there, getting results, but we keep on hitting these ceilings of achievement over and over again.
I was going to
And
ask you about that. Yeah.
yeah, and that comes in the form of income, you've all seen that confidence ceilings, consistency ceilings, where you start off strong and then you just kind of like taper off. Boy, if all these things could be addressed and rework, can you imagine how much magic could be made in a real estate business or any business or even life?
Mhm.
So what I eventually realized is that it's not strategy. It's not the problem. It is identity. We have the answers. Like, I used to say this before 2023, before AI came on the horizon with chat,
Right.
is that we say that all the answers that ever have been and ever will be are 100% evenly present in all places at all times. And people would just look at me strangely. And I'm like, well, they are there. Like the ability to make the transistor radio was around before we figured out how to do that, or the TV, or even the automobile. And Henry Ford was banging around on that thing until he figured it out, right? But
Right.
now
I love it.
AI adds a whole different element to that statement. Like, literally speaking, all the answers are everywhere that we need. And yet, do you think that people are better off now than they were 2 years ago? I mean, like, no, they're not. We're not. I mean, even like financially speaking, well, I don't know how to do that, one might say, like what, create a budget or something.
Yeah.
Um, you're just a few taps away from getting the answer on how to create a rock solid budget. But then it would require somebody that has a self-image, that believes they're worthy of having a solid financial picture, having a financial moat around themselves and their lives, being able to fund the perfect life and go on vacations and all those things that would mean. You see how this all comes back to the same place?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Roads
And it's
lead to
so important to have it's so important to have a coach like yourself or whomever you choose to give you that push or that direction. If I can make a very strange analogy here, people that do Weight Watchers will plateau, which is same for sales, any business, it's the same principle. And you need that person to tell you, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, or redirect you, or to point out the fact that you think you're doing the same thing every day, but you're not. And it's hard to see when you're that close, where someone like you can pull it out or redirect it or see what we can't see. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, and you just hit on something that's so important, and you can't. It's very difficult to see from the inside out.
Yes.
But someone else, a coach or a mentor, or a guide of some sort, can see that you can see things, especially if you're trained at this, and
Right.
to identify what the person is not following through with, or what kind of, they're call them out on their BS, but do it in a way that's uplifting and
Not
uh,
intimidating. Yeah.
oh no, tough love is definitely I think that's a good thing. Hey, I love you. Um, I used to kind of say, hey, I'll punch you in the gut and then I'll pick you up and give you a hug. Because we do need to get. I know it's weird. We do need to get kind of. Sometimes people need to be, like, I'm gonna say, shaken up, and just think about that. They're not seeing it, but like, to be able to give that gift of, here's what's going on, and that is a gift. When this information is revealed to people and they suddenly realize that they're not broken permanently, and they can step into greatness now, because especially when they look at it like a thermostat. Well, wait a minute, this is just a dial. This is okay. I get this now. I'm here. I want to go here. I'm not judging myself. No one's judging me here. It's just ratcheting it up, especially
Doing
when
the
you
work.
apply that level of thinking. Like, someone's here super successful by many rights, but there are people that are up here yet too on the ladder. Well, that's a self-image adjustment too, right? Are they beating themselves up? You know, maybe
Right.
not.
And I think so many people think that, well, if I do one thing, it'll just all happen for me. You've got to keep doing the work every single day.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think how you do one thing is how you do other things, but the work is nonstop. I mean, it is daily discipline. It's being involved in it. I call it being a product of the product. I mean, personal growth and development is something that runs through me. Once I locked onto it, I was hooked.
But
And there's an example. So I went on vacation last 10 days ago. We were down in the Bahamas for spring break with the family, and
oh,
my morning rhythm gets off. So I'm with the
easily.
Yeah, easily. We're in this, hotel room and I'm not sleeping right and the beds are small and we're getting up at weird hours, staying up later than normal. So my rhythm is thrown off. So I don't get up and do my normal routine, which is, meditation, prayer, gratitude journal. I got that a few times in. My reading was off. All these things are off. And so when you're in that flow and in personal growth and development, you get a chance to work on that every single day. And I think I would say for the rest of my life, it definitely makes a difference.
Well, Kevin, I know you have a wonderful program, so tell people how to reach you, how you can help them, what they would need to do next if they want to find out more about what you do.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for asking. So if you want to really learn, I teach what I'm sharing here on YouTube a lot. So I have a YouTube channel. Just look up
Okay.
at Infinite U. So Infinite and then the letter U at Infinite U by Kevin.
Oh, like Infinite University.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's the placeholder is three-pronged. So it's U, it's university, but it's also um,
You.
yeah,
YOU.
yeah, you got it. So, and then also on Facebook, same thing. So, at
Okay. Infinite U.
Kevin, yeah. And then if you want, go to, I'm going to give you a free download. So there's a free image,
Okay.
self-image upgrade PDF you can get, and it's at image as in self-image, imageupgradenow.com. Image upgrade.
.com. Okay.
Yeah. And then one final piece is if someone's like listening to this saying, and this happens quite often, is like, wait a minute, what? Like when that first was brought to my attention, this information, especially on the self-image, my head tilted to the side and I thought, oh wow, okay, this is explaining a lot of things in my life and how I'm inconsistent. My income is up and down, and my weight is up and down, and all these things that I didn't understand. And my head tilted to the side, and I wanted to immediately learn more about it and how I could immediately install this in my life. And so if you're finding yourself strangely intrigued by this, there's a reason for it. I think there is. And if this is just bouncing right off you, then maybe not right now, maybe at some point. But go to getinfiniteu.com. We're officially launching the coaching program. It's been in building mode. It's taken me years of my life.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
it's super exciting. And the interesting thing about this, and I'll leave this with you just in case anybody's feeling uncertain about something, is that um, I didn't know how long this would take to build. But the version of me that started this years ago, I mean, it's been like 3.5, 4 years, Gene, that I started building this program. Um, I'm better now. I'm a better conduit, vessel for the delivery of these powerful, life-changing, business-changing concepts than I was 4 years ago. And so as much as I wanted to say, I'm going to launch this and get this sucker out to the world, no, because it wouldn't have been what it is today. And so if anybody's up to something and they think that they're actually like all these obstacles are coming in their way, and this website, by the way, that's what's going on now. This website guy is not finishing his job in the website builder, and you're just frustrated. Just realize sometimes it's because
For a reason.
you're building yourself up to become the best possible deliver the vessel
Right.
that you need to be, if this is important enough that you're something you're up to. So that's something that I've learned along the way.
I think that's things happen for a reason at a time.
Yeah,
Well, we
absolutely.
are about out of time because I like to keep this to 25 or 30 minutes. So get infiniteu.com
Yes,
and then
getinfiniteu.com, and that's going to bring you to a trailer which will show you about Infinite U. And if you want to, it says like get early access. All you're doing is you put your email in there. Then when we launch, I'll be able to give you more information on it. That's what that is.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. And then on YouTube and Facebook, it's at Infinite U, correct?
It's at Infinite U by Kevin. At Infinite
By
U by
Kevin.
You got it.
Okay, great. Well, any final last words you want to throw in here for us, Kevin?
I would just say that if anything resonated, especially around identity, confidence, hitting invisible ceilings, there's don't go to judgment zone. Don't go there, because we all have this. This is all like a part of it. I mean, the first 6 or 7 years of our lives were formative. And we don't know, like sometimes we don't know why we do what we do. It's because of
Right.
the programming is why. And even if you go there real quick, like judge the people that programmed you in a way that's not serving you. And a lot of that shows up in finances, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
In all
not,
aspects of our life, actually. Many
yeah,
aspects.
100%. But then also remember too that those positive aspects, that the reason why you work harder than other people maybe is by virtue of the fact that you weren't given the things that maybe other people were. And so you kind of like need to realize that you got to be grateful for that too, right? So
That's true.
just it's an awareness thing, saying, hey, here I am, here's where I want to go. Get clear on your goals, crystal clear, and then beginning taking those steps every day. And it is day to day, every day, probably for the rest of your life, if you want to be that ultimate version of yourself, so that you do this work. So for what reason? So that eventually you can bring yourself, the best infinite version of you, to the world. And that's what the world needs.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to go to that website and sign up so you can tell me when you're launching.
That's good.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Kevin. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
doing this. This is very helpful, and just about all of us out there need this. So thank you.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me. I look forward to
All right.
talking to you. Take care. See ya.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real and Real Estate Podcast. I hope today's insights have inspired and empowered you. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with anyone who might benefit. Have questions or a topic you'd like us to explore? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep moving towards success.